Welcome to the Talkback of The Dancer. My name is Jeremy Lentz. I'm the Executive Director of the Teaneck International Film Festival, and I am thrilled to welcome Ahmad Joudeh to the discussion. Ahmad, thank you so much for agreeing to be here with us to talk about your story and your new documentary film, The Dancer.
Thank you.
I was so moved, Ahmad, by your story. And obviously, full disclosure, I met Ahmad back in 2023 when he was dancing at the Fire Island Dance Festival. And he told me about his book, To Dance or Die. And I had the privilege to read that book. And when I read it, I reached out to Ahmad and he told me, well, we're actually working on this documentary. And I said, that's really funny because I have this small film festival in Teaneck, New Jersey, that's a social activist project of the Puffin Foundation, and we would love to screen it. And that's how this all came about. So, Ahmad, welcome. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here. And I guess what I'd just like to start with, how are you? How are you today? How is your family? Tell us where you are.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I'm very happy all of this worked out. Here we are.
It's an honor,
Thank
truly.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm really happy and I love where I am today as a person and as an artist. I'm literally taking this talk in between shows. I'm performing with the Golden State Ballet Company in San Diego. And this is really amazing. Yeah, and then tomorrow we're starting all the rehearsals for the Nutcracker Ballet. My family's still in Syria, all of them, but they are in a very much better situation right now than they are before because, Syria got the freedom finally
Right,
that we've been fighting for, I think, more than 13 years. Um,
correct.
for the people in Syria and for my family, they are in a good, let's say, they're happy, they're okay. But if you want my opinion, I'm still doubting, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I'm not very sure about the new government, but I hope it will be, free for everyone in Syria, regardless religion, regardless backgrounds, or, orientations or whatever. I just wish the freedom for everybody, everyone, not only certain people and others. But then I always say if the people who live there in Syria are happy, then we are not allowed even to say anything because we don't live there. They live there. So, yeah.
Right. That was, initially my first question since the fall of the Assad regime.
Mhm.
Has your family seen a significant shift in terms of their life, more stability, more freedom, um, from obviously, this short period that Syria now has a new government?
It is little less scary, let's say. Like it is less scary. It is, let's say, like the utilities, for example, the basic needs for people are provided now. Like electricity is better, water is better. Um, Products like food and stuff importing from other countries also now it is open. The sanctions are lifted, so I can send my mom money, normally like everyone else, which is a great let's say development for us. But still, it's less than the zero, the level of like life of people in Syria. So they need to work a lot on it. Like the new government needs to do a lot of work. And I'm just hopeful. I'm
And
just
your mom,
Mhm.
specifically, obviously, she's such a central force in your story, and I think it's so remarkable to see how supported you were by your mother in the face of such adversity and the love that she gave you. Because I think, for all of us, we are unable to be ourselves without having, that love gives us a stability, from our childhood. And you had a mother who saw all your gifts in you and saw that you were different, and knew, even coming from, a place where, this wasn't necessarily the norm of, men or boys being ballet dancers, that she knew you had that gift, and she allowed you to spread your wings. And there's such beauty in just in that story, and seeing how your life has developed from Syria to the Netherlands to now the United States. And how is your mom? You know, I assume you talk every day,
Of
because that just
course, of
it's
course.
the relationship we have with our mothers. They're so intrinsic to our life.
Oh, we talk for hours. Yeah,
She must be so incredibly proud of you.
she is. I love her so much. My mom is like a friend to me. It's not only a mother. We're like best friends. Like, like when I was like not allowed to go to Syria, because of the army, whatever. So I would go with her to Beirut, to Lebanon, just take a hotel, take her to the hairdresser, take her on dates. Like, let's go have a dinner date. Let's go have, I don't know, like I love her so much. We are like friends, and I have seen how much she struggled by being who she is as an independent woman who works and who, she was a teacher and then a principal for a school and then for a high school, and she was like very, very strong woman that, like she raised me and my brother and sister with all of this confident of being ourselves. Like I remember when I would go back from the dance company, feeling upset because whatever, ballet world is a bit, it's a bit harsh. So I would go back and I'm like, Mom, they did this to me. And she said, What do you expect? So what? Of course they will do that. And you gotta be strong than that. I'm like, but this is sad. She's like, yes, but what do you want to do? You want to sit and cry? No, you're gonna fight it.
Yeah.
That was the beginning. So every time I came back to her weak, she's like, Why is this option in there, being weak? Like, what do you expect? Of course, people will fight you. Of course, you will get threatened. Of course, because you are different, And she never made it to me like being different. She never made it as a negative thing. She was always making it as a blessing, as a positive thing to me. And she taught me that how to even work more on that and be more different. You know what I mean? So she just implemented this power in me. And even today in the company or anywhere in the world, when, look how I look. I know, right? Like with the dark beard or whatever, through especially what is happening in the world now, people look at you and try to judge you. Still, this stuff happens every day with us. And I still remember when like the first time I came back home upset and she's like, "So what? Do you want to sit and cry or do you want to fight it?" Always in my mind.
Remarkable, because you have this incredible sense of self in knowing who you are because of what your mother gave you, and kind of that attitude of pick you up by the bootstraps. Yeah, life is going to knock you down,
Yeah.
and you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep on keeping on, because that's, such a strong lesson, I think, that all of us learn in life. But obviously, your mother knew that you were going to be confronted probably more than most people.
True. She
And
knew it all.
she knew it all. Mothers know everything. It's
Yeah.
like inherent with them. I want to ask you, and I want to, clarify something for a lot of our viewers who probably don't know, this idea of being a stateless citizen. Because I
Yes.
know, even for me, when I read your story the first time, I didn't have this understanding of how you could be born in a country. You were born in Syria, but
Yes.
yet you were not a Syrian citizen because you were a Palestinian refugee based on your father, correct? Because it's
Based on my grandfather.
your grandfather.
My
Wow,
father was born
your
in
father
Syria.
was born in Syria. So
Yeah,
because of your grandfather, and
yeah,
that's a whole entire
yeah.
another generation,
Also, my mother is Syrian.
right? And you reference that in the documentary.
I
But
say that
based
because,
on the father in Syria, it's based on the father's nationality, right?
yeah, well, basically, yeah, basically, you follow the father, not the mother. So women cannot give nationalities to their kids.
Okay.
That's why my mom could not give me the Syrian nationality. I was born in Syria from also my father was born in Syria, but his father was born in Palestine and he went to Syria after the Israel creation and then he was a refugee in Syria.
Okay.
Then there, I mean, he started his family and then he got his kids, like of course so many people, so many other people. But the Syrian government didn't give nationalities to the people who were born in Syria because they kept saying you have to go back to your country.
And that wasn't an option.
Of course not. So, but I believe, and it's like hard to say it nowadays because I believe they wanted more n big numbers of refugees. And how do you get big numbers of refugees? When you get their children and grandchildren and grand-grandchildren registered as refugees as not and not as citizens. So you will be a host country through the United Nations.
So they get more aid that
Then
way.
you get more subsidies
Benefits.
and aid and everything because you are a host country. But imagine, like this is insane to think about
Yeah.
because the first right for a human being is belonging, nationality. We were born there. Why am I not Syrian on papers? Why? I don't
Right.
get it, you know? So,
Right. It doesn't make sense. And even for me to like have that concept enter my brain, I was like, wait.
yeah, yeah.
So this guy is a stateless citizen. He's born in this country. His parents are born in this country, but yet he has no accepted identity within his government of being Syrian.
No, not even rights as well. Basically, we cannot own there. We have our school that are provided by UNRWA, also United Nations.
Right?
We have how to say that? Like we live in camps, which is it was developed and became, neighborhoods and everything, but still called the
Or
camp,
refugee
the
camps,
refugee camp.
essentially.
Yeah. So, it was very hard. It was very hard. Like I was born and already ripped from my first right ever. And that's not only me. I'm the third generation of the Israeli creation or Arab war or whatever they call it.
Right.
And we nowadays have the fourth generations, like my nephews and everyone, and they are still stateless. They are like the fourth generation.
So there's no path for for refugees in Syria, no matter how many generations. So fourth generation, fifth generation, sixth generation. Do you
Yeah.
think that'll change with the new government? Is there any kind of pressure within Syria to finally make some kind of shift?
Well, I don't know if people there will like what I would say, but I would love that. I would love it to change because like I think your country is where you are born, where you are raised, where you belong to, you feel you belong to. Your accent while speaking is where you are born, right? Like if you hear me talking, you say he's from Damascus. Like
Right.
if you hear my accent in Arabic. And I really wish and if I will I'm gonna go to Davos again in January in the World Economic Forum, and I expect to meet the new government of Syria there because they went there last year, and of course I'm gonna meet them if I'm there because I'm the Syrian dancer. If you think
Absolutely.
about it, like into Syrian dancer with no Syrian nationality. So basically, I'm gonna meet them, and my first request will be give us our rights. The
Oh,
previous government didn't give us our rights. Give us our rights. Let us be proud saying we are Syrians. Let us be feeling true saying we are Syrians. I present myself and say I'm Syrian. I am Syrian. But Syrian people could tell me, no, you're not. You are a refugee in our country. And I heard this several times, especially in the LGBTQ plus community, and you know how it feels.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm like, mm-mm, I feel Syrian. My blood is Syrian. My mother is Syrian. Your government is the wrong one. Your government took my rights. So,
Well, you're a warrior. You're a warrior for so many, and one of the things that, you touch upon in your film, is this idea of this ripple effect. And I know for me personally, reading your story, for friends of mine who I've shared your story with, and I'm like, you have to read this book. I mean, it sheds so much light on so many issues that are going on in the world, not just in Syria, but in Israel, Palestine, the US. But your strength in sharing your story has the ability and will continue to have the ability to be that ripple effect of the pebble in the water, of impacting millions of lives, by you having the bravery to be who you are in the face of such adversity. And I think that's what's so striking coming from your culture, having lived through ISIS. And I want to just go back to this idea of a stateless citizen, because it's my understanding, your career kind of blew up based on going to Lebanon so that you can get on So You Think You Can Dance Arabia, right? Like,
yeah,
but it was my understanding that you couldn't get there because you didn't have a passport.
I could. I couldn't win. I was in the show until the semi-final kind of the pre-semi-final, something like that. So that was like the life next was the semi-final, but
Mhm.
then they represented me from Palestine, and then that made a lot of Syrian audience hate the idea because how come now you represent yourself from Palestine, but you learned dance here and you were grew up here and all that. But I didn't have any say on that. Like TV, like they chose that, and I was what? I was like 24 years old and just just left Syria after 3 years of war, after losing my house, after losing five people from my family, after being threatened. And so I was not in the mindset of like, why did you do this? TV works like this. Well, I don't know. Maybe I swear I saw it on TV. I was watching the first live and there was like Ahmad Palestine. And I'm like, hmm.
So that came as a surprise to
It
you.
was a surprise to me. I didn't know it. And I can say it on media right now. I didn't know it. I
So
came
you
from
felt
Syria and I don't know why they did that.
they
But I
did
was
it
like,
probably to, it's obviously it's more controversy, right?
like to get a Palestinian participant.
Right.
So
That's
that
okay.
the night I was out, it was where they invited like the Palestinian ambassador and these people.
Mm.
And then I was out on in their presence. And when they said like, okay, the votes were not enough for you to stay or whatever, it's on YouTube, everyone can see it. I was like, sure, whatever. Like, I had a good time. I learned a lot, and I'm happy. So, but then later, um, one of the judges, who's also from the US, he came and he to the to the lobby of the hotel. He was like sad and crying. I'm like, why are you sad? He said, because we had a phone call from the government, and it said, get the Palestinian out. And I was like, are you serious? He said, that's why I'm upset because you are talented and you could have made it, but then it was political. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't know. Whatever. I didn't understand all of these political things and I didn't understand how camera works. I didn't understand, what is TV channels and politics and everything. I was just a kid back then. But now it makes sense to me. It was like the government from Lebanon had a problem with that government of Palestine, and because that specific ambassador was there, they wanted to make him feel bad, in his presence. So they got the Palestinian out, who is not even a Palestinian.
It's insane. This world that we live in,
It's
you
a
know,
mess
is
there. That
really
side of the world. Oh,
insane. Just the manipulation of stuff like that. I mean, it's it's nuts. Um, I wanna talk about what it was like going back, right? Because in the end of the documentary, we see you return to Syria and we see you reunite with your mother and your family. And then obviously it's all kind of cut short because of this threat that
yeah.
comes down. And you
That took me
say,
almost it took me almost a year to get over that.
and in the documentary,
Mm.
you say, this is, probably the last time that I can ever go back to Syria for fear of, safety.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you went back to Syria with a film crew at that period. What was that like? Number one, going back to film, just in terms of the technical component of it,
Yeah.
right? Getting into a country at a time where there's so much instability, and then, on top of that, now you're being met with all these other things that end up coming to fruition that are so completely horrible.
Yeah, that was a hard time. I had a really hard time back then. But the film crew who did the work in Lebanon and in LA didn't dare to go to Syria.
Okay.
So the director and the camera woman and they were in Lebanon. They stayed in Lebanon, and I went by myself to Syria because, like, literally, the director said, "I can't go to Syria. I have children."
Right.
So
Wow.
that's what she said, and I was like, "I
You went by yourself,
understand."
so who shot? Like, how are these films, how are these shots filmed?
I arranged a local crew.
Okay.
Friends of mine who are graduated from the same theater school that I was graduated from. I reached out and I'm like, I have this project. He came to Beirut, he met with the director, and yeah, we arranged the whole thing and he went back. He's a director for a series, like yeah, what do you call that? Soap operas and stuff.
Series.
Yeah, and then he's a friend because we studied in the same also year. So he took me in his car with him to make sure that I'm safe enough to
Hmm.
Damascus. And then we arranged the crew, and all of them knew me because we studied in the same theater school. So basically, it was really fun filming it. Well, except of the shocks that I have seen in there. But the film crew was amazing. They were like, yeah, hats off for them. Like they made sure to make me feel safe, and to make sure like everything is clear from guns or terrorists or I don't know or whatever.
How
Um,
many years had it been since you had been back
since the movie.
since the movie? But how many years were you away
For
into?
that, oh, I was away since I left, since I left on 2016. And then
Wow.
I went back 2023,
Wow.
yeah, for filming the movie. And I was planning to stay for the semester, like for like 2 months and a half. I
Mhm.
was planning to keep teaching in the school. You saw my students and everything in the movie. And I even got the materials with me, everything I learned in the school in the Dutch National Ballet Academy. I have all the notes here, they are in front of me. I wrote all the notes in my studies in Arabic. So basically, the method of teaching the Vaganova style of the Russian ballet, I wrote it all of it through my studies in Arabic. So I have it like 4 notebooks here, full of like from level the beginners to the level 7, which is the graduate, from ballet written in Arabic. And I took it with me. I wanted to arrange like a book and keep it there, but
Hmm.
I didn't have the time because uh, they knew that I was in Syria, and then suddenly on TV, that reportage was like, you saw, like, go get him and stuff, and whatever they accused me for. And the only thing I've done in my life to be threatened for or to be that they make them want to execute me is just dance. Just being a dancer. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't do anything bad in my whole life. I'm just a dancer.
But
And that's my
as
only my only thing that they want to kill me for.
but art, as we see, art is controversial, right? In governments that try to oppress, right? So something as simple as being a dancer, being a poet, being a writer, these are the people who are targeted, and they're usually the first targets in regimes that are oppressive. So, it's understandable, and it's something that we see. Um, but I think despite that, right, we are stronger. We are stronger because of people like you who aren't scared to fight the fight, who have the strength within themselves to be the voice of so many. And, I mean, you're who you are for so many different levels of, just your identity as an artist, your identity as a stateless citizen, as a Syrian, as who you identify with regard to your sexuality, and being your authentic self is something that will inspire a world. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your story with us. It is my hope that your story gets seen throughout the world, particularly in the Middle East, and that you do get to have that conversation with the new Syrian government, and you can be the force. And I'm sure you will be the force, because having met you and knowing you and see all the things that you've accomplished in a very short period of time, you will be the change. And it's people like you, Ahmad, who give people like me hope and inspire a world to know that there are incredible people out there in the face of adversity doing so much. And these stories aren't always reported. But the one thing that I feel proud to be able to do is to have a film festival that provides a platform for people with stories like you to be told and to get out there for the whole world to see. And I just want to thank you truly from the bottom of my heart for just living your truth, being your authentic self, and continuing to fight the good fight and inspire the world to be better.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support very much. And thank you for having my movie on your platform. I appreciate that.